We're going to start looking at part drawings. So with this file open, I'm going to go File, New, select a template and open it. Now my preferred way of getting drawing views onto the drawing sheet is to use the view palette here. Currently the view palette isn't populated. In order to populate it, we can use the drop down here. Anything that's open will be listed in the drop down, or if it's not open you can use this browse button next to it to get to the part that you want to use. If I just load in the machine plate, all the views appear for me straight away. I can then drag in a front view and then project off it automatically with a top, a right and a bottom. I then want to change the scale of the sheet, so if we drill into the properties of the sheet we can change that here from 1 to 1 to 2 to 3. Okay, I now want to create a detail view looking normal to this face so we can see the whole detail. So in order to do that, from the S key menu I can access the different drawing view tools, and I want to select an auxiliary view. That will just allow you to select a model edge and then project off that edge with a new view. Now currently you can see the alignment of that view is normal to the edge that we've projected off. If you want to break the alignment once a view has been placed down, you can right click on the view, access the alignment and then just choose to break the alignment like so. We now want to rotate this view around. So we have a rotate view tool in the heads up menu here, which will allow us to just rotate the view and that will snap to the various increments. Okay, now because we've rotated the view, the center lines have rotated with it. Let's just window around those, delete them out and reapply them. Now all I'm interested in this view is just the detail of that face there. So all the rest is irrelevant. So what I'm going to do is just crop the view. So in order to crop the view, you need to sketch a profile around the area that you want to keep. The profile itself has to be closed. And with that profile selected, just select crop view. We'll just reposition the arrow. We now want to create a section view, so I go to section view. That automatically selects a line tool for me and I want it to run right through the center of this boss, so you can use your inference lines to just ensure you're going through the center. And we'll just place that somewhere over here. Now if you want a more complicated section view, one that doesn't just take a straight route, the way you do that is you pre-draw the route line out beforehand. So I'm going to select my line tool, again using my inference lines. I want this route line to pass through the tapped holes in the machine pocket. Then we'll select all of those lines. An easy way to do that is to use select chain and then go to section view. And there's our section view through those holes. Now just note with the section view that where the route line changes direction you will see a solid line on your section view. If you want to hide that, you can access this hide show edges tool from the flyout menu. Just select the lines that you want to hide. There's also some quick select tools on here, so commonly things that you want to hide are tangent edges, for instance. We can hide all blend edges, for instance here, or alternatively if you have edges that are shorter than a certain distance you can hide those as well. To see hidden detail on this view, there's a couple of ways to do it. We can change the display style to hidden lines visible, which shows us all the hidden detail. If we don't want to see all the hidden detail, just some of it, what we can do is drill down into the view in the tree. Underneath that you'll see the part, and then underneath that you'll see all the features that are contained in the part. The cut extrude one is the hole that runs through the main boss. So if we right click that, we'll show hide and then show hidden edges, it just shows a hidden detail for that feature. From there, we might want to add a surface finish symbol. So from the annotations menu, go to surface finish. You have a nice easy to follow layout here where you can select all the varying types of surface finish available, and it's just a case of filling out the boxes so it looks as you want it to look. You can constrain that to a model edge and you'll notice that that stays constrained to it, so if you want to drag it out, that's no problem. The hatching of the section view is driven by the material of the model. So if I go back to the model and change the material to something else, what we should find is that the hatching changes to conform to that material crosshatch. We'll set that back to plain carbon steel. Now if you do want to change the hatching, you can select the hatching directly from the drawing view here and then just uncheck material crosshatch. This will then allow you to change the hatch to any of the various styles here, or you can change the scale of the hatch, or you can change the angle of the hatch as well. Okay, to create some custom views we can go back to the model. We'll just take the model and rotate it around like so. To capture that view, hit the space bar, brings up the orientation menu, select new view. We'll call this view Webinar 1, and then we'll switch back to our drawing sheet. Now in our drawing sheet, if we go to the view palette, the Webinar 1 isn't currently appearing here. If we want it to appear, we just need to refresh the view palette, and there it is, and we can just drag and drop that onto a sheet. Now it's not necessary to actually go back to the model and create that custom view. Another way to do it is to just drag in any view that you like really, and then use this 3D drawing view tool in the heads up view toolbar menu. That will allow you to just rotate the view live on the screen. If you want to save that view back to the model, you can do so. So there's our other custom view, and if we go back to the model, you'll see that it's accessible from there. We now want to add some dimensions to this model. So there's a couple of ways to do this. You can add smart dimensions, or you can drag in the dimensions from the model. So in this instance, we're going to drag in the model dimensions for these two views that you see here. So with them selected, I'll go to my annotations menu, then model items, and I want to bring in dimensions for the entire model, not just a feature, for the two views listed, and I want to bring in dimensions marked for drawing and all the hole details. Now just note that in the options there is a use dimension placement in sketch tick box that is on. What that will do is it will place the dimensions on the drawing views relative to where they are in the model. If you uncheck it, SolidWorks will automatically attempt to space those dimensions out for you. So you can see there that it does a pretty reasonable job. There is some adjusting that we need to do here. Perhaps we want to get rid of a dimension or two. No problem, we can just delete that out. And maybe want to replace it with a chamfer dimension instead. We'll also add a reference dimension here, and with that we'll make it a reference dimension. Just pull that out to the side. Okay, now with dimensions, where they pass it through each other, you may want to add break lines. The way you do that is you select the dimension, go to the leaders tab, and then just turn on break lines. Okay, wherever a dimensional line passes through it, it automatically breaks the leader line, like so. Okay, now with regard to these radius dimensions, you can select that, and from the palette you can add a little bit more definition to it. Now, a nice thing that you can do with dimensions is create styles and then subscribe similar dimensions to that style. So I'm going to create a style using this dimension, and I'm going to call it webinar. And then from there, it's very easy for me to just pick a similar dimension and then just subscribe it to that style, and you can see it change. You don't need to go to the Drawings Property Manager or Dimension Property Manager. You can select the dimension and access it all from the flyout here. Anything that you've done recently will be saved here. Any styles that you've got loaded up, you can bring in. Okay, that's that example done. We'll close that file down now and move on to the next one. So we have a flange here, and we're going to create a drawing from it. Just note this time I'm doing File, Make Drawing from Part. And we'll drag in a front view. The relevance of doing File, Make Drawing from Part just populates the view palette with that part automatically. Now this time I want a section line running through the top center and then through one of the holes. So the type of section view that I use for this is called an align section view. And again, just using my inference lines, I'll run through to the center and then through one of the holes. Okay, now the projection of that view is normal to the second line that we've created. In order to break the alignment before placing that view down, you can hold the control key, and that just allows you to place it anywhere. Now I need to rotate this view around, but I'm not sure what angle I need to rotate it round by to make this edge vertical. So rather than using the rotate view tool, we can go to Tools, Align Drawing View, and then select whether you want it to be the horizontal or vertical edge. So that rotates the view around very nicely. I now want to constrain the centers of these views together. So I can right click on the view, select alignment, align horizontal by origin, and just select the view that I want to align it to. Okay, and you can see now they align perfectly. We want to create a detail view around the slot. So when you do a detail view, it will by default select the circle tool for you to use. If you don't want to use the circle tool, you can sketch out any closed profile. And with that profile highlighted, just select detail view. Okay, the detail view will update live for you, and you can manipulate the way it looks. We now want some center lines to be applied to those views. So again, from the annotations menu, I go to center lines, turn on select view, and just auto insert them on the views that I select. We'll add some dimensions to the slot. Like so. And we'll add some dimensions on this view here. Now, a common process when you're doing technical drawings is to add datums and geometric tolerances. So all really easy stuff to do in SolidWorks. Go to the annotations menu, go to datum feature. You can apply the datum feature to a model edge or a dimension. Just hover over it. It will automatically take the label A and then continue to count up from there. And similarly with the geometric tolerance, you can select it from the annotations menu, and then you have this really nice easy interface that you can just fill out the relevant values in. Okay, so we've got that in. If we want to attach it to a dimension or a model edge, just hover over it until it highlights, and there you have it. Okay, we'll close this down and we'll start with the speaker stand. Okay, so this speaker stand has three configurations: small, medium. We'll make a drawing and just bring in a front view. And with that front view, we'll just go ahead and section it. Now just note with the section view, if I break the scale away from the sheet scale and use something other than that, it will automatically display the scale next to the view. Okay, it just stops people getting confused between the scale listed on the drawing border and the scale listed on the view. And this can be used for all types of views, so orthographic views can have them as well. Okay, I'm just going to break this view now horizontally. If you want to be really accurate with the location of your break lines, you can actually dimension them to model geometry, like so. And if you need to access them again at any stage, just select the line, the break line, and it will come up editable. Okay, on this first view we need to add a weld caterpillar. Now the caterpillar, let's say, is a tool that I rarely use. Therefore I haven't customized it so it's on any of my toolbars here. In order to get it, you actually have to go to Insert, then Annotations, and then down there you'll see Caterpillar. A nice easy way to access a command that you don't use very regularly or is not on one of your shortcut toolbars is if you just tap the S key. That will start the command search in the top right hand corner. Then just type the name of the tool you're looking for and it will pick it up for you. Now from there, if you want to know where that tool is located, you can use the glasses to search for it. Alternatively, you can start the tool direct from that location. So as it's highlighted, I just hit enter and I'm in the tool. And it will run a caterpillar the full length of that edge. The way this is displayed is editable. So I'm going to have it as partial length. I'm going to constrain it to the edges of the model geometry. You can change its display style or what side of the line it's applied to. On the section view, I want to see end treatment, so the same thing applies again. If I tap S and then type in end, you can see it finds end treatment for me. I'll just start the tool from there by hitting enter. And then select the two lines where I want the end treatment, and I can pull the end treatment either side of that first line. Okay, I may want a weld symbol on there now, so we'll go to annotations and then start weld symbol, and we'll drop it down like so. Now the weld symbol itself, if we just double click it, is a really nice, easy to use interface to fill out. You'll see it update live on the screen, and we just choose our weld symbols and fill in the boxes. We'll now bring an isometric view into this drawing sheet, and I'm going to dimension from that edge to the underside face. Now you can see that the underside face isn't accessible, but you can use select other to get to it. Just right click on the face, select other, and anything beneath it will appear in this list. I also want to add a note to this view. In order to ensure that the note is actually attached to the drawing view and not the drawing sheet, you can lock the view focus by just double clicking the bounding box. The four corners of the view will highlight. That just ensures that when I place this note down, it will be connected to just this view. Now with the note, I'm going to link it to a property from the model. So in the property manager here, we have link to property, and we can link it to the drawing that we're working on now or the model. So I'm going to link it to the configuration name of the model, which is small, and then we'll take that view, Control C, Control V, and just paste it in the sheet a couple of times. Now that note is parametric, therefore if we go ahead and change the configuration, the note will automatically update with the new configuration name, as well as the dimension changing for us automatically. The next example is a welded part. So we have this welded framework here. So we'll just go ahead and make a drawing from this. We'll drag in a view, set the sheet scale to 1:20. And in order to make this look a little bit nicer, I'll just right click the view and I'll set the tangent edge to display with font. Okay, now one of the benefits in SolidWorks when you're doing a welded framework like this is that you can automatically generate a cut list for it. And the cut list basically analyzes the structural members that have been used, groups identical ones together so you can work out a quantity, and it will tell you the exact length that you need to cut it by. All this is done at part level, so if I go back to the part and access the cut list properties folder, there it's telling me the description of the tube that's used, the length of it. If it's mitered, it will give you the angle of mitre, and it will also tell you what material is being used. So in order to add a column to a bill of materials, we can insert a column, very similar to Excel. We'll just stretch that out, and then we can get it to reference any of those properties within our cut list. So in this case, we're going to add material. Bills of materials can also be used with parts, including weldments. They're very useful with weldments actually. If I just pick the template that I want to use, what you'll find is the bill of materials will actually group all the same members together and work out an overall length required of that material to manufacture that part. So that's pretty good for when you're coming to order your materials. And you can manipulate that BOM so it looks however you want. So if you don't want the actual name of the framework in there, you can just dissolve the weldment and just show the bodies. We'll now look at an assembly. This assembly has an exploded view, and we'll put this in a drawing. And now in SolidWorks 2012, it automatically creates an isometric exploded view for us. We'll change the display style here to shaded with edges. We'll add a bill of materials. And just place that down. We'll now take this view and balloon it using auto balloon, and that will just balloon every item based on the structure of the bill of materials. If we expand the column out on the bill of materials, that will allow us to see the structure of it. So we have 4 parts and 2 sub-assemblies. Now, rather than seeing the sub-assembly for the handle, what I want to see instead is the 3 parts that make up that handle, but I want to maintain the sort of the hinge layout. The way I can do this is I can select the assembly icon from the row here, go to component options, and just promote the child components within it. That then removes the handle and just displays the parts within it. You also have an additional column here which just lets you know if everything has been ballooned. So that's a real good sort of way of checking afterwards, just to consult the BOM here. You'll notice that as I add balloons to the fixings for the handle, when we go back to the BOM, you can see they now show with a balloon. The last thing that we're going to do is fill out this title block. So normally when you fill out a title block, you'll go to File Properties, you'll have a preset list of properties here, and you'll just type in the values you want. That will then populate link notes on the border to show those values. Another way to do this is to use something called the Property Tab Builder, which is available on the task pane here. Now what this will do is allow you to set up a template where you can type in your values, or basically it will allow you to generate a list, preset list with initials of people in, just to save you a little bit of time and effort in filling out these properties. So you can have different lists for different properties. And as soon as I choose to apply that, you'll notice all the notes in the border appear. And they've all been propagated through to the properties list here. That brings us to the end of the demonstration.